Welcome to Tea Time with Shayleigh and Amber. I'm Shayleigh Evans, and I'm a life coach for pets and their people. I'm a truth seeker, and it's my passion to empower others and to give animals a voice along the way.
I'm Amber Lydic, and I've been a performance horse trainer focused on behavioral issues for over 20 years. My current passion is creating impactful in-person and online events and collaborating with professionals to be on the leading edge of positive change in the horse industry.
We are two friends invested in theta healing, belief system work, animal communication, and any resources that benefit human-animal partnerships. So turn up the volume and let's dive into the Great Awakening, brought to you by our horses. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We know you haven't seen us in a while, but it's the holidays, so cut us some slack. We are doing our last episode of the year, which is wild. If you're listening to this in real time, this is the last time we'll be hanging out for this year. If you're watching on YouTube, we got a couple gifts from our clients, and two of which are squirrels, and you might need to pop into this episode on YouTube so you can see the squirrels on our screen because they're pretty awesome.
Not to be wasted. Not to be wasted.
Also, let me know if my voice sounds better. We have mics now and we're super official, and hopefully it will make your listening experience more velvety and fabulous. So we're excited about that. Amber, first of all, who did Amber's Winter Wisdom cave meditation? Because it is all the rage right now with the folk. And everyone that I talk to is like, did you do the cave? Who lit up? Who got to go in your cave? Who did you have to send away? And it's a whole thing. So that was super fun. Is it available for replay yet?
Yeah, I'm probably going to put it out the first week of January. So it will be, if you signed up in the link,
Okay.
there's a replay. But if you didn't, then that is going out in January.
You guys need to check that meditation out. It's super, well, it wasn't even a meditation. It was a journey, and it was super wild and powerful. And it sent me into a miniature healing crisis that I had to work out for 30 days, which sounds scary. Don't worry. That probably won't happen to you. We can offer you support if it does. But it literally highlighted a lot of stuff in life, and I don't know what I expected from it, but I had a lot of stuff come up, and then I had a lot of people message me and were like, oh my gosh, this was such a wild adventure. So check it out in January. We also have a manifesting magic adventure. Do you want to talk about that? I feel like you're better at talking about those things.
That is something that if you signed up for Winter Wisdom Journey, you would have gotten a link to sign up for early bird. Our members, of course, get it as a little gift. If you signed up through the link, then you got a little side door entryway into it with our members at a discounted rate. And those people, if you're listening and you didn't know that, you should go check the link because you'll get the experience live. But what we're going to do is on January 4th, the link will be ready. Doors will be wide open for Manifesting Magic in 2024. And we obviously decided to do that because it's a new year and that's what everyone does. And we just want to be like everyone else. Just kidding. Ours is totally different because it's us and we're doing things our own way. And there's a big infusion of several different techniques that work for your own learning style and your own jam, because I recognize heavily in my manifesting journey that I am not down with the vision board stuff. And some people really like it, or some people like journaling, and some people like speaking their stuff into reality. And so we tried to encompass all of that into this little workshop that we've got going. So it'll be self-paced and you guys can do it all year long if you want, revisit it. There's going to be some subliminals. There is videos of us. We take you through each process, through each module, and some meditations. And Shayleigh even did a drink pairing for each module, which is maybe my favorite part. And this process that we added in, I mean, there's a million different ways you can do this stuff, but I feel like I did this process through a group And I've joined, I think, last June. And I swear, you guys, I did this process and continue to be disciplined in doing it. And I was thinking about all the stuff I was going to manifest in 2024, and it's literally already happened. So it's like rapid fire coming in hot. And I know that it's because I got so intentional and so excited about it. The one thing that I think doesn't get talked about a lot when you're manifesting stuff is the beliefs that are sort of buried underneath that actually block you from allowing yourself to go into the receiving mode to call this stuff in. And it's not about just doing like these incantations and screaming into the universe and into the mirror, the things that you want. It's much deeper than that. And within this workshop, you can find those little sticky spots that you got going in your belief systems and clear that shit and then get all the things you want and need in perfect divine timing when it's right for you for your highest and best good. And so you have to learn patience too. Results not guaranteed. Results are reliant on you and your
Yeah.
willingness to release. So
Yeah,
yeah.
your willingness to release and let things flow. Yeah, manifestation is so interesting because, like, the more you want it, the harder it is to get it, which leads people to believe that you have to work hard for everything and that, like, good things don't just come to people who, like, don't work hard and put themselves out there. But really, that's like such a false premise because you have to work hard because you don't believe you can have it typically, and you have so much resistance behind it when you're really wanting something from a place of not having it. And that is what like gives the illusion to having to work so freaking hard for everything you want. So we are putting together that little journey for you guys so that you can learn that it's actually not hard to manifest stuff that you want and it can come very easily to you. And I think the most frustrating thing about like manifestation and when you really get into like the laws of the universe and like how the law of attraction works, you also manifest a lot of the shit that you don't want by thinking about the stuff that you don't want and allowing that momentum to get going in that direction. And I was reading a book this morning that was talking about how brain is constantly scanning for threats, and the guy said that it's like our brain is a velcro for negative stuff essentially, so it's really hard to get your momentum back in the other way. So we want to start out this year getting that momentum in the right direction.
Yeah. And the awareness piece, I think, is the biggest, most powerful piece of everything that you do. And so I've just had a couple sessions yesterday, and the theme was sort of, well, this happened, and I knew that this was happening within me, and I know that's a pattern. And I was like, you already won right there in that moment. You recognized a pattern, and like you're already good to go. Because I feel like most people don't. And like the focusing on the things that could go wrong, like you said, yeah, because our primitive little brain was like, where's the saber-toothed tiger? And like, I need to be hyper vigilant or we're going to get eaten. So it's just a matter of recognizing when your brain switches into that and going, oh, hey there, little survival ego friend. Like, I know that at one point that was true, but now it's not. So let's just see what happens. Let's get curious.
Especially if it's a pattern, because patterns are like the biggest thing that trips us up, I feel like. And it's hard to break patterns or habits or beliefs. Like if we think about a belief as just a thought that we keep thinking, we've been thinking that thought for 30 years or however long, it's going to take some discipline and a daily practice to get yourself back on track. But that's why we're here, and we're definitely doing the work with you because I have some stuff I'm trying to manifest in the new year.
That you are manifesting.
Yes,
No,
I am manifesting.
no, try. We do not try here. We do.
Good point. Good point. Speaking of doing, we're also going to be doing a VIP membership. Should we talk about that? Because that's going to be in February.
Yes. So we have a lot of requests for, well, I have a lot of people coming in the side door trying to get to Shayleigh. How can I get a session with Shayleigh? And I'm like, look. And then it's like, how can we get a tandem session? And so we have been through December, we offered our members tandem sessions, and we did them once before last year for our Elements of Connection horse participants. And I feel like that first round, it was like us just like trying to figure it out. And it was a little like bumpy and a little like, oh, what do we do here now? And then I feel like this last month, the tandems that we've been doing with our members have been so freaking rad. And obviously it's because we know each other better. And um, I think there's just like a flow that happens now that we are very comfortable with. And so these tandem
Mhm.
sessions have been very powerful, but there's only so much time in a day, and trying to squeeze them in between private sessions and stuff. So we decided for the people that are really ready to like dive in and want to spend an entire month with a group. I think we're doing a group of 6. I think that's what we decided
Mhm.
on for this first round. We're just gonna try this out and see how it goes. And the first round is going to be just a month. So the VIP program is going to get you a one-on-one session with Shayleigh, a one-on-one session with me, a tandem session, and then a group session with the other people going through the program with you guys. And so if you're really ready to like dive in and go all in and clear your shit and understand the patterns and learn to really tap into your own intuition, your own communication, your own deeper understandings. It kind of feels like I'll have a lot of people right now wanting help with what does my career path look like? What does my life with my
Mhm.
horsemanship journey look like now? Like, it's kind of this theme of there's a lot of people out there that are aware that there is a better way, different way, more holistic way to do things now, but they don't know how to make the shift. And I feel like that's your own path. And if we can support you in finding how that looks for you, like it kind of feels like those are the people that are going to be good for this little VIP thing. Um, so there's going to be a private Facebook group. So you and your very intimate group of people will be getting some very intensive coaching, intensive support, around all of those things. You will be held accountable for the things we ask you to do because we want you
Mhm.
guys to have results. We want it to be very impactful. We want it to be very powerful and potent. And so there's probably going to be some meditations added in. I'm sure that there will be a theme of the group because that's kind of what happens automatically is the little container that'll be created will be exactly what you need. So if you guys are feeling called to something like this, I'll stick a link in the show notes of this call, and there'll be a little application process and you guys can feel out and see if it's right for you, and that will be in February for the month. So you basically have the first 3 weeks to get in your 2 private sessions and your tandem session, and then the very last week, I think we already have the date on the calendar, it's like February 28th, I think, is our group call, so everyone will gather, but you will already know the other people in the group from the Facebook group, so it'll be a good way to close that container and connect all of you guys and button everything up and send you on your way. Um, we might do it again.
Mhm.
We'll just see how this first one goes, but it kind of felt like this could be really fun to just go really deep with, a small group of
Yeah.
people and see what transpires.
We're also going to be releasing our inner vision workshop again and our 21-day vision quest. So get excited for that. And also, what's exciting is we're going to have a tea tour. Amber and I, we don't exactly know what it looks like yet, but it's 100% in the works. And we are going to be traveling to maybe 2 places this year. I think we decided on potentially. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It's us. So could go anyway, any which way. But we are definitely going to be traveling and hosting not a clinic,
It's
almost like
not,
a little
I feel
gathering, little
I feel like it's a journey, right? It's going to be like
yeah.
everything else we do, all the workshops. Well, the Vision Quest or the Inner Vision workshop that we did last fall, I think, or end of summer, was just a 2-hour workshop. So we'll be releasing that again. I'm sure it'll be a little bit different because it's a different time. Your ears are different. So if you
Mm-hmm.
want to join us again, that will be happening. I don't remember the date, end of
Hmm.
February. And
Yeah, I
then the
think so too.
Vision, yeah, and then the Vision Quest, the 21-day Vision Quest starts March 1st. So that'll go for 21 days from March 1st. It's amazing that we didn't talk about what we were going to talk about, and I'm remembering the dates because I just wrote them
I
all down
know, I'm
last
blown
night.
away.
New year, new me. I'm just kidding. Um, and yeah, the it just feels like we've been able to facilitate a lot of sessions virtually and then in person too because of the multiple days of the elements of connection working together.
Mhm.
And it feels like it can look like whatever it wants to look like. And I think we'll put out a little application for you guys to fill out if you want to host 2 or 3 days. It can be with people's personal horses, maybe with a group of horses that the people have who are hosting that work well together, and you leave your personal horses at home. That creates a little bit of freedom for travel and stuff. Um, or there's a whole day where there's no horses and we just go out in nature and connect and work from there. So it almost feels like once we find the right spot, whatever wants to be created will be birthed and come through. And then whoever feels called to sign up can show up and you'll get exactly what you need. So I think
Yeah.
for now, we're doing one in the spring. There's two
Yeah,
this
one
year.
in the spring and one in the fall, I think.
Yeah. Um, spring and fall. Um, so be on the lookout. I'll put the link I am committing to a lot of links
I
before
know you
Saturday.
are.
It's okay. I needed to do them anyways. I needed to do them anyways. Um, so that'll be also in the show notes. We'll probably post this maybe on Facebook or something, and then it'll just be out there, and all the links will be in there for you in case you're interested in anything that we're talking about. And also, Elements of Connection has a birth date now. It is going to be here in Aptos, California, like the original one, the OG. It's with Shayleigh and I, Celeste, Tara, and Catherine. Again, that does not have a link yet, so don't be expecting that, but it will come. That's usually an application process. That is going to be July 24th, 25th, 26th, 5 days. It's a half day starting on a
Mhm.
Wednesday, half day closing on Sunday. So mark your calendars down if that feels like something that's interesting to you. They've been pretty freaking magical, and we already talked about this one, and I feel like every time we do this, it's going to be exponentially more magical than the one before. So even if you've
I
been to
know.
them, I know the people that have already attended them will tell you that they would show up again. And I feel like every time we do one at the last day, people are like, when are we doing this again? So
I know.
I'm sure that it will be a popular little event we're going to do. It's deep, deep, deep healing. And I think the comments from everyone after these have been, I did not expect to get I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. And it was more magical than I could ever even conjured up in my mind. Um, so if that feels like something, that information will be out probably in the next week, but probably not by Saturday. So just mark your
Yeah.
calendars down for that one.
Yeah, lots
Mm.
of cool events. We are still doing our book club and our membership. We usually have lots of goodies for our members. So if you haven't checked out the tea house, check out our membership. Another thing that I feel like I have to talk about, totally random. Let me get it. It's a Vibes Up squishy, and
Oh,
Amber
I
and I ordered
ordered
like 6 of
mine.
them. Yeah, so someone gifted it. Jessica from Earth Song Ranch gifted it to me, and this is like if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it. It is a little, they call it a squishy, which is so fun. Um, it's a little like pad of crystals and other types of like clay and stuff. And they send it with this little excerpt that's like, this is going to raise the vibration of like your food or your drink or whatever. If you don't believe it, like you have to see it to believe it, put it under your water and watch how it like oxidizes your water and creates little bubbles, or put it under your food and notice how your food tastes, put it under a plant that's dying and notice like what happens to the plant. And so I put it under my water and like didn't put any intention behind it or anything. And I came back like 5 minutes later and it had bubbles in it. And I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. And so I've been using it for like all this different stuff. I put it under a plant that had like a wilting leaf. And not only did the leaf come back, but it sprouted a little white flower. I was like, what? That's fucking cool. So I'm like freaking taking this little squishy thing with this microphone. I felt like the microphone was literally projecting all of its energy at me the first day that Amber and I used it. And she's like, put the squishy under it. So it's literally like going everywhere. But it's called Vibes Up. And they call it this one's called a pocket squishy, but they have like a bunch of different things. They have like mugs, they have blankets, they have I bought like a neck thing for my husband. So you guys should check it out because I feel like I've had it for a week now and it's tried and true. Like I put it under like my dogs have two different water bowls and I put it under the metal one because they normally don't drink out of the metal one and that one's always the one that I have to refill now. It's like so cool. So check out the squishies.
Maybe we'll put a link for the squish on in the in here too. I don't have to create that link, so that feels easy.
Yeah, we have lots of things. Oh, also, life update. Clyde is no longer in Evans. He is now, Amber called it Old McDonald, which is so perfect because, as you guys know, if you've been following his story, he left a farm a couple miles away and then he terrorized another farm for a while. Then he ended up at my farm and now he's hopefully at his forever farm, which is right across the fence line. It's right across the wood line. My neighbors took him. What happened was that he was really injuring my horses pretty bad and not in a way that he was ever like aggressive or anything. It's just like I have such a playful herd and I never saw it like I feel like I like looked into the future and was like this is never going to get better. Like my horses are constantly going to play with each other. They're constantly going to like push each other around and he just like can't take the heat. And so I asked him one day, I was like, what is your end goal? Like, are you going to keep biting throats? Like, I know you're, and he basically was like, I either need another donkey or I'm, I need to go somewhere else. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get you another donkey, unfortunately. But I messaged my neighbors and they were like, oh my gosh, we've been really wanting a donkey. And so he's so happy over there. He lives with goats, cows. He's getting a donkey after the holidays. So he's going to be super stoked. And I just think he was so smart because my neighbors don't like they're not well versed. Like I'm going to continue maintaining his feet for them and like I've been giving them like diet advice and like how to help keep him healthy. Although I went over there the other day and they've been grooming him so much. We're like in the middle of winter and he's like slick and shiny because he's like so well groomed and like all of his cuts and scrapes are gone. I brought him over there like a dirty little mud ball and he was so scraggly. And I went over there and I was like, what is going on with you? Like, you look like a little show donkey. So he's so happy over there. I was actually talking to Tara about it and she's like, he's so smart because like your neighbors don't know a lot about donkeys. And he literally came to you, got his feet fixed, got castrated, got vaccinated, got dewormed, like got all the things and was like the perfect package. Like, could you imagine if he would have showed up there like a donkey stud? Like, they probably wouldn't have kept him because they wouldn't have known what to do. And he was just like this feral stud. So he got a little makeover and then he went on his way. And like, I know that he's happy because I very rarely hear him. Like, he had so much anxiety here because I was constantly taking the horses in and out and stuff. And like, he brayed all the time. Like, he was always looking for attention. And now he's over there and he's like the show. So he never, he like doesn't talk very much. I get pictures of him all the time. He's like either laying down with the cows or whatever. So yeah, Clyde's on a new adventure for those of you who cared or listened. And I guess my only other life update is that I finally broke free of my animal communicator label. And I
Mm.
decided to get myself a new label, which was super powerful. Mystic is what I chose. It feels fun. Life coach for pets and their people. It just feels like it gave me like more freedom to like accept the weirdness that is me, to not corner myself into animal communication because I think I'm ready to say like I don't just talk to animals, I talk to people's spirit guides and their inner selves. And if we're gonna get real crazy, the creator of the universe, okay, whatever you want to call that big man upstairs, been talking to him. So I had to totally break out of my animal communicator label. So that's fun. What's new with you? Is there anything that people haven't heard about you since we've been gone for 3 years and 7 months?
No, I think if we're speaking to some of the things that I was kind of stuck on and like really wanted, like to manifest. Like I was working really hard at a freaking horse trailer that I knew exactly what I wanted, and I didn't have a horse trailer. Smarty, ha- my horses are so they're so they're so good to me. Like I know that he hated my trailer, and every time I'd haul him, he would sit at the end and he would be like, "I don't want to get in," and I'd be like, "I understand, but we have to get your feet done, or you won't be sound, or we have to get in the trailer because we're gonna go do fun stuff that I know you like to do. We're gonna go traveling and trail riding and all the things." And he would always get in, but he didn't like it. He wouldn't eat. He would get anxious in the beginning. He would paw, and he wasn't really happy. And I knew it was because of the style of trailer it was, because I experimented with a client's 2-horse trailer that was a straight load, the ones that had the wall in the front. And then I experimented with a different client's trailer that was a 2-horse straight load, but it had the bar so the little legs could go under to catch. And I think I did a like little vlog about it when he went to get his feet done, like I don't remember when. And he literally on the way home after I had the third option for him, this is so ridiculous. I like tried different trailers for him before I bought a new one. Um, he just got right in and immediately started eating. It was super relaxed. So I was like, oh, it's totally the trailer. So I was like, damn it. So I sold my trailer super fast because I saw so many trailers that fit what I wanted, and then they were gone. All of them gone. And so I haven't had a trailer, and I felt so claustrophobic and locked onto the property. And I hate borrowing trailers. And so this process that I went through that we're doing in the Manifest in Magic in 2024 process, I literally have a trailer now, and it showed up the perfect trailer, exactly what I wanted. Showed up in my newsfeed. I have been looking every day, all the time, nothing, not even remotely close. And that popped into my existence. I have wanted to create the uh am I talking about this? I guess I'm talking about this. The art of equine alchemy experience is like 3 years ago. I just jumped ship on my page and was like, nope, everything has to be different. And I knew what I wanted it to look like. And so it's interesting because some of the trainers that I asked back then were a fuck yes right off the bat. And I didn't even know what it looked like. And I don't think I was ready for it. So what was born was Elements of Connection, which is not horrible, but it definitely prepped me to be able to create this larger event. And what I was hung up on was, no, I need to know where the venue is, the venue for an entire year. I've been saying that. And after I did this process, literally somebody messaged me and was like, hey, what about this place? And I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I didn't think about that. But I wasn't in alignment with it. Like I just did this process, and it got me into this place where I was like, oh, well, that's where it is. This is what it feels like. Oh my gosh, I don't have to worry about it. It's totally, and then bloop, half hour after I came out of it, the venue popped into my lap. And then I messaged all the trainers, and all of the trainers that have said fuck yes are amazing. And I was stuck on like the live feed person. They just popped up yesterday. So everything is just kind of like falling onto my lap. And I think it's because I just got really intentional and caught myself every time I would go into, oh, this belief that I had that I can't do that. That's too big. That's too complicated. That's going to be so stressful. It's going to be so hard to plan. And it was interesting because I had this belief that finally released around like all of the stress that I realized around creating that event came from feeling overwhelmed that I was going to have to figure it out all on my own. And my lesson for 2023 was really around finding the right people to co-create with and then allowing support in. Um, and then so when I thought, I was like, I don't have to know how to do the live feed. I just have to hire somebody that knows how to do the live feed. I don't have to set up all the tables and chairs. I hire someone to do that. It was just like such a strange block that I had to do it myself, or it wasn't going to get done right, or another thing that would have felt like is I didn't earn my keep, like I had to work really hard
I
to.
have that one.
Mhm. And so I was like, well, I have to do all of these things, or, what's the purpose of me? Like, why would I even be there? And so it's an interesting thing to, even if we're just speaking to belief systems that we've kind of dug around and found in 2023, which were a lot. Okay. We had a lot of things this year. We did a lot of digging this year and a lot of healing
Yeah,
and a
we
lot of
really did.
processing. And I just had this level of unworthiness and around co-creating. I think I've talked about this before, just partnership in general, which came from just an experience with my grandfather, just one core memory where he told
Mhm.
me that if you were in, I was watching ice skating in the Olympics, and he said, you know why they, the girls, the women that are competing in the Olympics, ice skating with pairs? And I was like, no, why? Because it was like one of my favorite things to watch. And he was like, it's because they're not strong enough skaters on their own. They have to have a man to skate, or they can't compete by themselves. They're not good enough to do it on their own. And then so then I just trickled into this like whole belief that like, oh, if you're doing something with someone else, it means that you're not good enough on your own. And it's and so even when I started my old podcast, having trainers on, I was like, oh, the only reason people are listening to this podcast is because I have all these cool people on, which, well, I mean, it's kind of the point of the podcast is to be able to introduce and, share people with the people that you know and the connections you have with, other people. But it was from a very different place. And now I feel like, oh, I got to the point where I was like, I am never going to know everything. Why would I ever think that I had to be all encompassing of all of the knowledge of the body, of the communication, of the person side, of the like, it's actually completely impossible. And so once I opened up to doing the elements of connection and doing this podcast and doing the workshops and all of these co-creations that I've done with random people over the last 2 years, it was doing it with the right people because I had some co-creations that maybe were a little ended up mildly traumatic for me in like 2 years ago. And I learned from it and I learned discernment and I learned that I could trust myself when I picked people. And so after we did the elements of connection, after the second one, I was out there and I was like, I'm so much more lost than I ever was. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, what's the point of me? And so being discerning about the people you co-create with, you can come when your moments like that and have everybody like, this is what you do here, in case you can't see it blind spot. Like, let's tell you all the ways of why you are necessary in this co-creation. And so it was just this like reminder of I can receive the good feedback, which is something I felt like I blocked for a long time because I just didn't believe it. And I could also receive support, and it didn't mean that I was weak or couldn't do things on my own. So I think just releasing those really big, deeply rooted belief systems that I had this year has allowed for all this stuff to just like come piling in really hard and fast in the most amazing way. So that's where I'm at. So here we are.
So
Uh,
here we are, just
mhm.
ringing in the new year together.
Yeah.
Such a fun partnership that we've had this last
Hmm.
year. We've had so many good times. And to think we had like commitment issues at the beginning. Like both of us were like, we have commitment issues. And we like put all the dates on the calendar and it felt super weird for both. Like it felt good, but we were both like, yeah, if at any point this isn't fun anymore, we'll dip out and we'll have a mutual understanding. And it just keeps getting like more fun and more fun. And now that we like have hung out a few times in person, you'll just see a lot more of us for however long to come.
Yeah, it was really easy this year to put all the dates on for our tea parties that we have in our membership. I was like, okay, we just went through the whole year and just like blasted them out. And I was like, that didn't even feel scary. Look at us go.
Yeah. We're like another year of the membership? Yes. Another year of the podcast? Yes.
Yeah, 20,
And we want to go
2023
on
has
tour
been good.
together.
Yeah, the live stuff's going to be super fun. Um, Super fun because of all the ways that people I don't think have worked with people in each other and their animals in general. Like it's just going to be something unlike anything that exists out there, guaranteed. So
Yeah.
super exciting. Anything
Thanks for
else?
listening.
Oh, the last awkward goodbye of
That's
2023.
it.
Our goodbyes haven't been quite, quite as like abrupt and awkward lately. So maybe it was time.
I do feel like we just kind of know when it's ready to end. And like that's how I am when I'm on the phone. Like if I'm done talking, I want to be done talking. I want to be like, okay, bye.
So thank you guys for hanging out with us for almost an entire year. It's almost our anniversary. I think we started like end of January, maybe. Um,
Mhm.
we appreciate you guys for supporting us in our little learning curves and all the ways we're just real and a little bit sporadic. And we've got our nutmegs to support us with all of our random nuts that come rolling through our minds that we need to share with you, our little inspired stories that sometimes don't seem like they make any sense, but we get tons of messages
Yeah.
that say, thank you for that random story because it totally resonated with me. So we're going to keep being weird into 2024 and we're going to get freaking bigger and weirder and probably more sporadic. And if you don't like it, it's too bad because we're all also being unapologetically unhinged for you for 2024. That's the vibe I'm taking.
Yeah.
So all
Love it.
right. Check out all the links
See you
if you
guys
guys
later.
want to dive in with any of the things with us. And we will see you in 2024.